we can use more Jesus in this country, and at least in my opinion. So if this is not a topic that you want to hear, then you might skip this video, because that's what I'm going to talk about today. Good morning. How are you? Huh? You need some loving, Fallon? I came to hang out with you for a little bit. Yeah. Hang on, I'll come in there. Oh, Phoebe, she hears. She said, "Are you coming to me?" I'm not right now. It's about Fallon right now. Just a minute. Just a minute. No, you can't go out today. Look, I brought you some treats. Yeah. Oh, did you miss me? Huh? Come on, let's come up here. Come on. Yeah, come on. Atta girl. How you doing, huh? Oh, yeah? You just need some loving, huh? Let me get out of your way there. Yeah. What's the matter, Phoebe? Huh? What's the matter? Fallon. Hey, sister. Come on, let's walk over here. We'll say hi to Phoebe so she don't get her feelings hurt. What are you doing? Good morning, Phoebe. Good morning. Good morning to you. I don't have a bottle. Fallon, goodness. You two babies. Yeah, y'all are spoiled rotten. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you some treats. Hang on. A little morning treat. Yeah, here we go. Here. There you go. Here you go, Fallon. There you go, sister. There. Entertained for just a second. Yeah. Well, Fallon is doing okay. Separated from her mama. Oh, look at Farrah out there. She's having her a good dust bath this morning. Out there with that dang rooster. Farrah! Come here! Come here, Farrah! You not done? She's not done. You want a treat? Oh, Fallon. Come here, Farrah. Come here. Yeah, here you come. You want a treat? Here, Phoebes. There you go. Oh, there's Farrah. Phoebe, be nice. Phoebe. No, here you go, Farrah. Atta girl. No, you be nice. No. You gotta share. Here, Fallon, here. Quit. You want it? You don't want it? Okay. Hey, Phoebe, be nice to Farrah. Here. Now let Farrah have one. Come here. Phoebe. No. There, she got it. Really? That's a lot of butt on me. I think you should chill for a second. The girls had to come out and see what the ruckus was about. Here comes Freedom. She sees treats. And the other girls. Here they come. How are you, Freedom? I'll give you a treat too. Oh my gosh, my little donkey posse. Here. Here, Freedom. Phoebe. Alright, girls. I'm going to get on with my video. Oh, I got to give I got to give Fancy a treat. And Freedom will let her. Here we go. I don't think Freedom's going to let her. Here you go. There we go. There we go. All right, girls. It's time for a chat. Y'all be fine without me for a few minutes. All right, guys. So I got my chair today. Look at me. Probably won't leave this chair out here because it's a good one. But I want to talk today about my faith. I think us as humans in this world need to talk about it more, share our testimonies. Lord knows we can use more Jesus in this country, and at least in my opinion. So if this is not a topic that you want to hear, then you might skip this video, because that's what I'm going to talk about today. And yes, it's been on my heart to talk about it quite a bit lately, and I just want to share it with you. Share my faith journey, my story. So I grew up in Church of Christ until I was probably 10, 11 years old. We went all the time, and my parents got divorced, and then we ended up moving. And when we moved to Sulphur, we just didn't go to church a whole lot. I went on Wednesday nights a lot. The First Baptist Church here in town back then had a deal on Wednesday nights called Oasis, and all of us kids would go there and worship and eat and just hang out and play games, and it was just so fun. That was one of my favorite things in high school. And they also did this deal on Friday mornings. It might have even been every other Friday, I don't remember, but we have a Mozzio's in town, and like at 7 or 7:30, everyone would meet, or whoever wanted to, would meet at Mozzio's. We would eat some pizza early in the morning, and there would usually be an adult speaker there of some sort. Sometimes it was a student, but they would tell a quick testimony, give us, some scripture. We would pray and go on about our day, go to class, and it was just, we loved that, because usually Fridays were game days, football game days, basketball, and so it was just a great way to start that day. And that's one thing that I always love. I wish they would bring that back, because it was just really cool to have, and to get to experience that. So I wouldn't say we went to church very much on Sundays when I was in high school, but then so I graduated. I was very young for my age. I was 17 when I graduated, didn't turn 18 till August 31st. But I was already working for a bank, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a banker. And I knew I didn't want to go to college, but there was this time, I would say about a year and a half after high school, where I was just really unsure about a lot of things. Like my life I felt like wasn't in a good place. I was on the verge of being a little depressed, I think. I just wasn't in a good place, spiritually, mentally, just learning how to figure life out and what you're going to do. And I'd lived with a couple friends, and anyway, then I had finally got a place of my own, but I was just very lonely. I had a lot of friends, but I just, in here, I felt very lonely, and was dating someone, and I ended up getting pregnant with Weston. And when something really big like that happens, it stops you. And I wasn't sure what life looked like raising a baby by myself. I knew that I did not want to get married to him. I knew that it would end in divorce, and I did not want that on my life resume. It was just not something. I know it's kind of contradictory to having a baby when you're not married, but especially back then, that was over 20 years ago. That's insane. But I just, I did not want a divorce on my resume. I didn't want to put Weston through that, but I knew that's how it would go, and I knew it wouldn't last very long. And so I made the decision to not get married and to raise him by myself. And when I made that decision, I knew banking wasn't going to take care of us. And especially back then, I think I was making like $800 a month, like working full time. So pay was not good back then. And anyway, so I decided to go to college. Now, while I was in college, I worked at a bank, and a really good friend of mine that I worked with, her father-in-law was a pastor at the church we currently go to. And, you know, she tried to get me to go to church. And then about that time, Daniel and I started dating. Weston had just turned 3, and Daniel and I started dating. And it was, you know, it was just like, it was a whirlwind. Sorry, there's an ant on my phone. I would say it was just, you know, fall in love. Everything's just amazing. And, you know, Daniel's dad, his mom had passed away when he was younger in a car accident. And him and his dad were very close. And his dad had just got diagnosed with lung cancer right before we started dating. And so we started going, I say we, it was definitely more him, spending a lot of time with his dad, taking him to chemo and radiation and all those things. He had to have some surgeries, and it was a very emotional time. I've never experienced losing someone, going through that process. I only had his daddy from May to December, but that man, he was a wonderful man, and I wasn't sure what life looked like when he was gone, because he was Daniel's person, and he loved Weston, and him and Weston got super close, and it was just, I wasn't sure what our life was going to look like after he was gone. And he passed away in December, and my friend that I worked with said, just come to church, DJ. And so me and Daniel and Weston go to church, and sitting there that morning, I don't know what it was. It was just, something was uplifting, something was growing in me and in Daniel, and we knew things in our life kind of needed to change. We weren't living a crazy lifestyle by any means, but we knew we wanted to be different and to live our lives differently. And it just became, you know, we started going to church there, and then that fall, the church puts on this drama called Heaven's Gates, Hell's Flames. I think every other year they would put this on. And they would always get people in our community, in the church, specifically in our church, to be actors in this drama. So you had to learn your lines and your words and everything really fast. That first year, I was not in it, but I was in the audience watching it. And let me tell you, when God wants to move, he will move, and he will move whoever he wants. And that night, I literally felt like I was floating in there. I knew that I needed to live my life differently, not just for me, but for Weston and for the family that we were fixing to start. And I will say, we did get married right before that. So Daniel's dad passed away in December. We got married in May. He left for patrol school for 4 months, and I moved us to a different town where we had to live at the time. And I was doing student teaching. Like, our lives were very busy. Not much different than they are now. We just had less children. But we went through a lot of changes very fast early in our marriage, and went to Heaven's Gate that night, and I got saved. I'd never been baptized before. I don't know that I don't remember ever having a moment where I had been saved before that. I knew I believed in God, and I loved him, and I knew that he controlled all things, but I didn't know to what extent. I didn't understand it fully. And then I got saved that night, and a few weeks later, we start the process for me to get baptized. And I had so much anxiety for that, just because it was a little, I don't know, it was just a little nerve-wracking to get up in front of all of your adult peers and friends and family. Like, I feel like when you're a kid and you get baptized, it's really not that big of a deal because you're a kid. But for me, I was not embarrassed, but just super anxious about it. But I got baptized on October 26, 2006. And I feel like God was planning things and moving, and that was just part of my process, to show my church family and my family and friends how I wanted my life to be, and I wanted to be different and live life different, be appreciative, be faithful to God. And it's hard sometimes. Things come up in life where you're not sure, you don't understand. And there were times when I was pregnant with Weston that I was like, God, I don't understand this. Why is this happening to me? I thought that a lot early in my pregnancy. I did. Why is this happening to me? And oh my gosh. Looking back, nothing he did was to me. Was it hard? And was it difficult? You betcha. There were things that were hard. But obviously, as I've grown in my faith over the last 20 years, 15, 20 years, God doesn't do anything to us. He does it for us and through us. I used to not understand and be mad and kind of angry about my parents getting divorced. That was very hard for me. And sometimes when I think about it, it still is. It still kind of burns. But had that not happened, I would not have the people in my life that I have. And I know that God was working. Even though I had to kind of be hurt and struggle and deal with all of that. God's plan is always better. And that's why we have to put our faith in Him. He knows and sees things that we don't, often for a long time. And, and even now, like when we had our razor accident, I didn't question Him. I feel like it's our first instinct sometimes is to say why. But I did not question Him in the chaos and the scared and the panic that I felt. I didn't question Him. I knew that that if it was either of their time to go, that there was a purpose. Thank God that was not the case, and He let me keep them. But moments like that are what makes me believe in Him even more. And I will never regret putting my faith in God and my family, and my husband does an amazing job at putting God first. It is God, it is our marriage, and then it's our kids. And there was a couple times throughout our marriage where things kind of got backwards, where a lot of times it was our kids above our marriage. And then sometimes it was, our kids above God, and that's not the way it goes. And sometimes we have to refocus and come back to that, reprioritize for sure. And I will even go as far as to be this honest with you. There early in our marriage, we didn't have much money. And so we would tithe every month, but we didn't do I say we couldn't. Now, looking back, we could have and should have, but we would just tithe what we could, or what we thought we could afford, because we didn't have much money. Being a new state trooper does not pay well. And so anyway, we didn't tithe like we should. And then we made a decision to tithe off the top. Like, we need to do this. This is, I would say this was several years ago, but, we would tithe after our bills were paid. And that's not what God tells us to do. And we made a decision, okay, this is what we're going to do. That comes first. And it's just funny how God works. God has blessed us. And I'm not talking just financially, but I believe when you fully give everything to Him, everything, you turn everything over, like all the things that we have, that you have, it's all materialistic, and we don't get to take it with us. But while we're here, it is our job to follow God and do what He asks of us. And when we do that, when we give our lives fully to Him and our kids' lives fully to Him, because let me tell you, they're on loan, in my opinion. And He's just letting me borrow them for right now. And I know there's going to come a time where I won't be here. And Daniel and I both wanted our kids to have a firm foundation in faith and in God, and to know right from wrong, and to live it, to not just say it or be it, just to live it, and love Him and talk about Him and share our testimony. And I know our kids have their own free will to do whatever they want when they get older. I think I just shot snot out. I'm so sorry. But it's still our job to do everything that we can, dragging them to church. We've done a lot of dragging our kids to church. They did not want to go, but, they're going. And anyway, I just want y'all to take a moment, say a prayer, because having that relationship with God is the most important relationship. I mean, obviously I love my husband and I love my kids and my family, but that's the one that matters the most. And I just wanted to share my story with y'all. It's not a lavish one. It's not exciting, but there are so many moments in my life where the only explainable reasoning, purpose was God. And sometimes it's a long time before we find out what that is. But when you do, it's like, okay, I hear you. I want to tell this one real quick story. After we had Houston, he did not sleep through the night at all. Like, at all. And we typically didn't go to church on Sunday nights. But something was going on, and so we went. I don't even remember what it was. But Houston was 6 months old. And I'm trying to get away from that. He was 6 months old and hadn't been sleeping through the night. And we go to church on Sunday night, and we're standing in the back, and our preacher is up there preaching. And he's saying his prayer. And I'm literally standing at the back of the sanctuary, bawling, begging for sleep. I said, I just need sleep, God. Please, God, just sleep. I just need some sleep. I can't keep doing this. I'm exhausted. And the prayer was over. I dried it up before anyone really noticed that I was bawling. And came home that night. Everything was the same. Put Houston in his bed. We go to sleep. And I wake up at 7 a.m. And I'm in a panic because Daniel hasn't brought Houston to me. I didn't have to go get Houston. And so I go in his bedroom and he's sound asleep. And I just stood there and cried. As small as that was, it was huge. I mean, God heard me. I know He did. And it might sound like a silly story to you all, but I'll never forget that. I'll never forget it because I feel like I literally had him on the phone that night and didn't even know it. And I will add this, Houston didn't sleep through the night again for another 5 months. So, but God knew. He knew I needed that rest. And even prayer sometimes as small as just needing sleep. Excuse me, guys. He hears us, and he knows what we need and when we need it. And have that relationship with him. Y'all, it's worth it. It is worth it, I'm telling you. He knows what we need when we need it. I had to move my chair. The sun's creeping in on me. So yes, that's my story. And I hope you enjoyed it if you stuck around that long. I know it was kind of a long story. Richie always, a friend of ours, always gives me a hard time. Oh, DJ's got another story. Well, I do. I've got lots of stories. And so sometimes I like to share those stories, whether you want to hear them or not. So anyway, guys, yes, I am so grateful for the hard things that I've gone through, for the easy things I've gone through. But I couldn't have done it without my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He is the end all be all for me, and I love that I have that relationship with him. And so with that being said, song of the video, I've used it before. It is my favorite forever since it came out. It's called Evidence. You need to go listen to it. If you haven't already, from when I told it before, go listen to it. Yeah, Josh Baldwin, Evidence. Listen to it, watch the video. If it doesn't move you, I don't know what to tell you, because it moves me every time I hear it. Matter of fact, it's on my to-do list for a tattoo. I'm going to put some of that, the song, the verses, on somewhere. That's my next tattoo. I just haven't figured that out yet. I do like tattoos. I like small ones for the most part. But anyway, that's for another video. So go listen to that song, guys. And always do your best.